So many gray hair.
Alrighty, people. Oh my God.
Here we go.
You and I went to bed last night in Sydney, Australia, and we woke up to absolute chaos in the NFL. Hey, could you guys have just done that like 12 hours earlier so our videos would have been prepared for that today? If you haven't watched the start sit videos, I did leave a pinned comment or a comment basically explaining my opinion on these updates, but there's actually genuinely a lot to talk about before we dive into your questions. So just be aware, there's a lot to cover here. We're going to talk about the Davante Adams trade. We're going to talk about the Amari Cooper trade. We'll talk about some changes. We'll talk about some changes to certain quarterbacks playing. That makes no sense. There's just a lot to talk about, all right? I appreciate you guys for being here with us. Hey, do us a favor. Go ahead and smash that like button to show some love.
Come on, baby.
Subscribe if you enjoy our content. We've got a like goal of 100 likes on today's stream. With your help, I think we can get there. So go ahead and be a friend and smash that like button. Here's the deal. Let's all get together right now and agree on how this stream is going to go, okay? First off, guys, if you're spamming questions in the chat, be careful. We're going to have to put you in timeout, okay? But here's how the stream is going to go. Number one, we're going to recap everything that happened today. Number two, we're going to answer your questions. And here's how that's going to work, all right? In order, we've got questions on the website. Those questions will be prioritized first. So if you want to get your questions in, definitely go check out the website. I put a link in the pinned comment, okay? So if you haven't checked out the website, definitely go give it a look. Those will be the priority questions. And if you don't have an account yet with Flock Fantasy, go ahead and create an account for free by using the promo code LAND. That will give you access to expert consensus rankings. That will give you access to like the My Teams feature. As long as you have a league with Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo, you can go ahead and link your teams. If you're with the NFL.com app, unfortunately, they don't allow us to access information like every other app. I don't know why they're stingy with their information. And then if you want to ask a question, a team review, trade question, start sit, or a super message, you can do that with the link in the comment. But there's a lot to talk about today. So much news. And I think we should probably start with the Davante Adams trade. Sure. So Davante Adams gets traded to the New York Jets. Surprise of the century, not, right? I mean, hopefully you hear the sarcasm here. I'm trying to find the exact terms for you guys, but essentially it was like a third-round pick, right?
Yeah, it was like a third-round pick.
Okay.
And I think
Jets
a sixth
get
or something.
Adams, a conditional third. Anyway, you guys don't care about that. What you care about is how this impacts fantasy football. So, looking at rankings, thinking about what Davante Adams has done. I mean, if you want an instant timeout. I mean, sometimes, guys, why do we have to tell you this stuff? You've been on the stream long enough. Okay? I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm a preschool teacher. Okay, everybody, can't talk at once. All right? Go in the corner. You're in timeout. You can come back if you're nice. All right, really let's talk about this, Badaki. So, Davante Adams is a New York Jet. Obviously, there is immense history with Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Remember, guys, there was like a 5-year span where Davante Adams was the best wide receiver in football, and that had a lot to do with the fact that Aaron Rodgers was throwing him the football. They had this mind meld. This absolutely is an improvement for his fantasy outlook. You cannot say it's not a massive improvement.
No question.
And it's absolutely, in my opinion, going to hurt Garrett Wilson. Now, not to the point where Garrett Wilson is no longer playable, not to the point where he's even a flex. He's still a wide receiver 2 play. I wholeheartedly believe that both of these guys can finish top 20 this year, right? But I do believe you don't make this move unless you want Davante Adams to be your number 1. So what will be interesting is if they put Garrett Wilson in the slot. I think he could really dominate in the slot. But ultimately, we do have to talk about how this impacts rest of season rankings. For me, at this moment, I've put Davante Adams as my wide receiver 12. I feel like he should be ahead of Chris Godwin, but Chris Godwin's a wide receiver 1 right now in fantasy football. Am I too low on him? Am I too high on him? I'm asking the chat. I'm asking you, Badaki. How high should Davante Adams be in rest of season rankings?
I mean, I feel like top 12. I have to say this. If Devontae Adams is top 12, I think Garrett Wilson should be close.
Okay, so I'll tell you where I have Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver
Okay.
17. Wide receiver 12, wide receiver 17. I don't know why I would put him over Terry, right? Number one weapon in a good offense, one of the best offenses in the NFL. I can't put him ahead of DK. That guy is probably going to be top 5 in targets this year. Jaden Reed looks like a superstar. I mean, who do you put him ahead of after this trade?
Sure. I can understand that. I just think basically where I see this is just that Adams will be the number one, and then there would be inconsistencies with both of these guys on a week-to-week basis, maybe. Right? Maybe we'll have weeks where Adam has 22 points and Garrett Wilson has 12, and then vice versa, where Garrett Wilson has 22 and Devontae Adams has 12. I think both of these guys, I think for me right now, I have him 14 and 16.
Okay. You have Adams at 14? So
yeah, I have Adams at 14.
Who's ahead of
Garrett
Adams
Wilson
for
at
you
16. For me, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Jaden Reed.
Okay. All right.
And that's obviously still with I guess rest of the season, you still have Cooper Kupp up there. You still have Justin Jefferson up there. Of course.
Sure. Yeah.
Nico Collins is still up there. So
Man, I don't know. I kind of feel like Adams is going to step in and get like 12 targets straight away.
I think I have
game
more
with Rodgers.
I have more confidence. I feel like with Adams and Wilson over DK right now. I know he's kind of going crazy in targets right now. This is a pass happy offense, but another team that has too many weapons and is very inconsistent in trying to spread the ball around. To Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett getting involved the past 2 games. Noah Fant was getting involved the past 2 games. I just want the history now with Adams, and I also want what we saw so far with Garrett Wilson with Devontae Adams, or with
I think I can move
Rodgers.
Jaden Reed below Garrett Wilson, but I would struggle to put Wilson ahead of Terry. I mean,
yeah,
Terry,
I'm struggling with that as well.
Okay, yeah, I mean, in the first 2 weeks, clearly Jaden and Terry were not on the same page, and to be fair, like, let's give Jaden some a break here because it was his first 2 career starts. But if you look at week 3 onwards, so that is a sample size of 4 games. Terry McLaurin is a wide receiver 5. The wide receiver 5 since they kind of started to figure stuff out. I struggle to put Wilson ahead of him. I can see where you're coming from with DK, but I think DK is going to finish top 5 in targets. And I feel like if that touchdown doesn't get called back because of holding, I don't think people are freaking out about DK Metcalf, right? But yeah, I guess I do view I do view Devontae Adams as the number 1 here. You're more viewing it as a back and forth between those two names.
I think it's 1A, 1B, and they're going to help each other out in different ways. But I think we're going to be frustrated. But I mean, we did see 2 top wide receivers last night, or on Monday night, have an incredible game. I mean, Allen Lazard, I think, had like over 100 yards. I think Garrett Wilson also had over 100 yards. I know maybe a lot of those yards came from that Hail Mary for Allen Lazard, but like maybe that's the expectation for now Adams and Wilson, right? Like maybe that's exactly what they wanted to mesh together. They're just getting a better wide receiver that can do so much more for them.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm projecting Adams to come in and be the number 1, and you're projecting it more to be a timeshare. Not a timeshare, but like a split. But the way I would compare it for fantasy, and I'm not comparing them as players, is kind of like Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods back when they were both shining in LA. Cooper Kupp was clearly the number 1. He was the one to own. But Robert Woods was still a very good fantasy asset. That's the way I would digest this. And of course, we'll find out. And to be honest, after week 1, people will take a victory lap either way of their opinion, and it won't be accurate anyway. Right? I mean, we'll have to wait till like 3 or 4 weeks from now. But Adams, like, there's no way I'm sitting him this week, right? He has to be in your rosters. As far as Garrett Wilson, I also think he has to be in your rosters. Like I said, this is Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it was, when they were both really good assets, both finished top 15, top 17. So I just view Adams as like the preferred number one. I mean, there's that inbuilt chemistry. You've seen, even with Garrett Wilson, whether it's right or wrong, you have seen some frustration from Aaron Rodgers. It's probably wrong, but you have seen that frustration from Aaron Rodgers, right? So,
and if you think about it, the offense is still the same. Obviously, they were both with the Nathaniel Hackett offensive coordinator. Obviously, he's not the play caller, but the terminology should all be the same. Adams should easily slot in with this offense. And you should be starting him this week. I think I see people saying, a lot of people in the chat saying, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I should start him this week," but I'm definitely going to be starting him if I have Adams. I actually don't have any Adams because I thought there was going to be a huge dip this year, which was with the Raiders, but now he's with the Jets. So now I wish I had him.
We just got a super chat from Sal. Got to give him a shout out. Another $100 donations. I think that's $300 donations from Sal this year. You are incredible.
That's funny.
Funnily enough, Sal and I both on that trade in the Flock League. I mean, we were grinding. We were trying to find a happy middle ground, and obviously I did not predict Amari Cooper to the Bills. So right now that trade is looking very good for Sal. I'm still happy with it, to be honest. I think it's the definition of a win-win. I thought it was a win-win before the trade, so obviously now it looks very good for Sal. Remember, guys, this is the trade in the Flock League where Sal got Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, B-Rob, and Bucky. I got back Jonathan Taylor, Terry McLaurin, Juju, and Tajay Spears. So I think that was a win-win. I'm honestly, like, Badaki and I don't think it's a secret when you watch the videos. If it's not Badaki and I, we want Sal to win. So we kind of have like this little alliance going on.
We had this going. Yeah, come on. Go Sal.
But I appreciate you, Sal, man. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. You're
man.
always out here showing some love to us. But okay, so we've talked about the Davante Adams trade. Essentially, I have him as a wide receiver 12 rest of season, and I have Garrett Wilson around 16. Now, you have them a little bit closer, but that feels pretty close to me personally, 12 and 16. That doesn't feel too far off. So let's just quickly talk about who it negatively impacts. Allen Lazard is nothing to me. Allen Lazard is dust. Allen Lazard doesn't exist anymore, in my opinion. 111 is probably too harsh, I'll be honest. But, I mean, Lazard is probably going to be sitting around like where Mike Williams was, around 77, 76.
Yeah, it's kind of tough now because you can't really trade Lazard for like high upside players. Even if you wanted like a Dontavion Wicks or a Jacoby Myers or an Xavier Legette, like all those names you just can't get at all.
No.
I would say, I don't know if he's rosterable. Maybe, I don't know who's available on the waiver wires in your leagues. Maybe in a 10-man league and Josh Palmer is available or Michael Wilson is available. Like maybe those guys are worth picking up over Lazard right now. But I agree, kind of a dead asset right now.
So let's move on to the other huge trade, and it all happened overnight while we were sleeping. We woke up to this. Amari Cooper was traded to the Buffalo Bills, and Amari Cooper fell to his knees at a local Walmart when he saw that text. I mean, this man said, "Thank you, Lord. You've saved me." I mean, this is everything Amari Cooper could have dreamt of. Now, let's be careful. I think we should, like, just personally, I know I just traded him away in the Flock League, so you could take this as bias if you don't believe that I'm being impartial. But I do think we should slightly lower expectations from what I've seen. I think a lot of people are anticipating this to be like the Stephon Diggs replacement, and that could totally be the case. But this offense operates completely differently to how it used to when Stephon Diggs was dominating for fantasy football. Right when the coaching change happened with the offense coordinator last year, Joe Brady comes in. They went from one of the most pass-happy teams to one of the most run-focused offenses. And I do think that they probably weren't able to pass as much because they didn't have the receivers, right? That they wanted, that they could funnel the ball to. You and I were not high on Keon Coleman. Didn't feel like he could be a reliable name. Clearly, you don't make this trade if you think Keon Coleman is someone that you can rely on, right? So Is it the chicken or the egg? That's what you have to decide. I still think this offense wants to funnel through the run game. I think they will throw the ball a little bit more. But sure, Amari Cooper goes from getting about 9 targets per game to what, 6.5? Maybe 6.5 targets per game. That might seem a little too much based off what we've seen from the offense so far, but those targets will be more valuable in the Bills offense from Josh Allen than they will be in the Cleveland offense. So clearly this is a huge upgrade for him in fantasy. Let's just discuss rankings-wise where you and I have him. I put him at wide receiver 18. I don't
so you
even
have him
know.
close to Garrett Wilson then. Isn't Garrett Wilson 16 or
Garrett Wilson
like
16, yeah. I mean, you have the number 1 for a team and the number 2 for a team, right? I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say Amari Cooper and Garrett Wilson could get a similar target share rest of the season.
No, I don't think it's crazy. Just based off of both of their situations.
I was really struggling with like the Marvin Harrison, Brian Thomas, Ayuk, Debo range. I honestly feel like you could put them as low as 24, like right behind Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, Debo, Ayuk.
I have him 23, so I have the Debo, Ayuk's, and technically DJ Moore ahead. I don't have Brian Thomas that high right now because I love Brian Thomas. That offense is just terrible, and it's just going to be based off matchups on a week-to-week basis. I think love Brian Thomas as a talent. Just hate everything that's going on over there.
He did drop a touchdown, and that's out of character for him last week.
Sure. I did see that.
Look, like I said, I think it really is this tier. I want to ask the chat. All right, chat, just say one name, and we'll go through this together. Cooper or Smith? Tell me in the chat, Cooper or Smith. All right. Who do you guys prefer here, Cooper or Smith? I want to see some replies here. The issue with Smith is that he's just a clear number 2. All right. It is a majority of Cooper. I agreed originally in my rankings. All right. How about Cooper or DJ Moore? It's about 90% Cooper here. All right. Let's stop. Cooper or DJ Moore? Cooper or DJ Moore? Who do you guys want here? All right. So this is Moore, pretty close.
Cooper, DJ.
A lot of Coopers.
Cooper,
a lot
Moore.
of Coopers. I personally
DJ.
originally was saying Cooper over DJ Moore. I think I'm putting him over the Niner receivers because they're so inconsistent. Brian Thomas is a rookie, and Marvin has been inconsistent. That's why he landed at 18 for me.
The reason why I'm a little bit hesitant because I think all these players' targets are valuable, and I think all those guys are going to get their opportunity. It just depends on which offense you want to be a part of. Now, like you kind of mentioned earlier, this offense is different. They want to spread the ball around. It's not Stephon Diggs, 12 to 14 targets per game. So those targets will be valuable, but it may not be those boom games that we might be seeing. Like we knew at the Browns, he was hopefully going to be getting 8, 9, 10 targets a game, even if they weren't valuable with Deshaun Watson. Where I feel like both Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, like if we're talking about the Niners, all those targets are valuable in a team that is normally a high passing offense with no CMC right now. It feels like they really want to throw the ball. But
I hear where you're coming from.
I think it just depends on how you view it.
I view Ayuk and Deebo. I've said this for about 4 weeks now. They're boom bust rest of season, and there's a chance Amari Cooper could be more consistent than that. And I actually believe that there could be definitely boom games for Amari Cooper in Buffalo. Yeah, he'll have some bust games, but so will these guys. And Cooper has a chance to be the number 1 on that offense, So anyway, really interesting. I mean, it's funny because I thought about the opposite side of this. Well, by the way, Shakir kind of dead. Sorry. Coleman is buried in the ground for me. And then on the opposite. Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I think this might potentially help Shakir and Dalton, potentially, because now you actually have a threat. But I'm not saying like I'm moving these guys up my rankings. I'm not saying something's going to happen. I'm just saying Amari Cooper's in now. You didn't have anyone else to potentially double team or potentially have as a threat on this wide receiver room like you had in the Stephon Diggs. But once again, I'm not saying that I'm moving up my rankings. I'm saying I can see that pathway also happening.
I mean, he was already getting such a low amount of targets. I can
I don't know if
understand where you're
you
coming
think
from.
both? You think both? You think both having low targets? I'm not. I'm talking about Shakira and Dalton.
Yeah, I'm saying Shakir was already seeing a very low amount of targets.
Oh,
I
right,
don't
right, right.
know.
Okay. What about
I
Dalton? Do you think that helps Dalton at all,
It doesn't help
or
Dalton.
could help Dalton?
No.
Okay.
I mean, in my opinion, it hurts Dalton and Shakir. I moved Dalton to my tight end 9 or tight end 10 rest of season. Would rather have Ingram, Pitts, Kraft, Laporta, Ferguson, Kittle. But yeah, I mean, it was already low volume. I don't know. Like, if they really thought Shakir could break out and be the guy for them, they wouldn't have made the deal. But let's talk about the opposite side of the Amari Cooper trade. It was funny. I was like, oh, so this probably helps. I was like, shit, I don't want to start. I still don't want anyone in Cleveland. Sure, I guess Jerry Jeudy has helped, right? I guess this helps Jerry Jeudy. This probably helps David Njoku. But unless they change to Jameis Winston, I don't think I have any interest in... Like, I'm not going to go pick up Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore wasn't good even when they didn't have Amari Cooper healthy last year, and they didn't have Jerry Jeudy. It feels like
in the water for everyone over there. I think
it feels like almost nobody benefits, but maybe
I don't
Jeudy.
want anyone in that offense, to be completely honest with you. I think if you make this trade for Amari Cooper, I think you kind of understand where this team is going.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's the reason I have a little bit of optimism, because maybe they're like, you know what? Let's just put Jameis Winston in here. We're already tanking. How much worse could it be? In that scenario, Jerry Jeudy is a good stash, but obviously that's impossible to predict. Okay, the other thing we need to talk about, and I promise you guys, we'll get to some of your questions. I see the super chats. We've got a lot of questions on the website. You guys are awesome. We'll get to these website questions first, right? We said that at the beginning of the stream, and if you want to prioritize your question, I'll put that link to the website here again, where you can ask any questions that you have. But the other thing that we need to talk about, in my opinion, would be the Russell Wilson news. What the family friendly? Hold it back, Zach.
Hold it back.
Hold it back.
Reel it in. Reel it in.
Back it up, Tare. Where's the report? Where's the report? Russell Wilson in line to start at quarterback for the Steelers in Week 7. I'm not 100% sure there's a report this entire year that's made me more angry.
Look, I like to look at both perspectives. I'm a man of optimism. Do I think it's right? Absolutely not. Tell me how many games Justin Fields himself won for the Steelers this week or this year so far. He carried himself.
I think that
he made plays. He made plays to win.
Well,
I'm just playing devil advocate.
Let me answer the question here.
I agree. I'm just saying. I'm just prefacing my theory. Continue.
Here's the reality. If you don't actually watch the Steelers games, you won't have a good answer for that. But you're telling me that Russell Wilson is going to be able to scramble out of dangerous situations in the pocket behind that offensive line like Justin Fields has? The amount of chicken shit that Justin Fields has turned into impressive play, it can't not be understated. And I'd like to go on a little rant here. Okay? Justin Fields, super talented player. We all know that.
Yep.
Gets traded to the Steelers. Russell Wilson isn't ready. He leads this team. You can talk about the defense all you want. You can talk about whatever. The team is 4-2. You are what your record says you are. This team is 4-2 under Justin Fields. In the AFC North, a division that has the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns, and Justin Fields led this team to being 4-2. 4-2. The locker room loves him. The city loves him. Nobody in Pittsburgh wants to see Russell Wilson on the field. Do you know how minute of a mistake Russell Wilson's going to have to make to be replaced by this fan base? Not by the coaching staff, but by the fan base? It will take one interception, and this entire city will turn on this man instantly. They're probably already not happy about it. I would not be surprised if Russell Wilson comes out and starts this week and the Steeler fans are already booing as he goes onto the field. But more importantly, Justin Fields is not playing poorly. Justin Fields, let's look at his career. Goes from 58% passes completed in 2021 to 60 in 2022 to 61, and then a huge jump to 66% of his passes completed in 2024. The man has a 5-to-1 interception ratio, touchdown to interception ratio. He has 5 rushing touchdowns through 6 games. How many do you think Russell Wilson's able to do? How predictable will your offense be in the red zone now? What the fuck are you doing? Respectfully. This man has 10 touchdowns total, 1 interception on the year, and you're replacing him after going 4-2? Good luck with Russell Wilson behind that offensive line, wanting to scramble everywhere, pretending like he's still 22 years old, extending the play, but not actually able to rush for positive yardage.
Yeah, look, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just seeing it from their perspective. I think the way the Steelers organization, the head coach, Mike Tomlin, is saying Justin Fields himself is not winning us games. Can Russell Wilson do that? We don't know.
Okay,
because we
great
haven't seen it.
point. Because this is what I keep hearing from people. Russell Wilson. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. Have we watched the same Russell Wilson in the past 3 years? Am I losing my mind? This is what I keep hearing from people. Well, Justin Fields isn't winning us games, so you're gonna put Russell Wilson in?
Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl winner. What do you mean? How many Super Bowls Justin Fields has? You tell me. How many winning
The
seasons has
levels
Justin
of
Fields led?
stupidity to
How
that
many
reply
seasons?
is crazy. There are levels to stupidity, and this is like tier S. I'm sorry, you don't think Fields is playing good enough? He has 10 total touchdowns and 1 interception. Okay, he's not playing good enough. Okay, great. So you've got Tom Brady out of retirement then, right? He's coming in. What the? So you're going to put Russell Wilson in the game?
I don't disagree. I think Justin Fields should be the starter. I completely agree with you. I think that's what they're thinking. I think it's a stupid move. I completely agree with you. I want Justin Fields. But some people say Russell can throw the ball to Pickens, and I think that might be true.
And by the way,
Which
if
could
you
potentially happen.
If you want to say, well, it wasn't Russell Wilson, it was the Broncos. The Broncos are 3-3 right now with a rookie quarterback. I'm sorry, it wasn't Russ's fault. It was the Broncos' fault. They're 3-3 with a rookie quarterback. Okay.
Anyways,
I'm gonna pop a blood vessel.
Yeah, you need to calm down. And this is not even your team. You probably don't even have Justin Fields anywhere or Russell Wilson. So
I actually do have Justin Fields in the Superflex league, but it just doesn't make sense.
It's just, I agree. Kieran, aren't you a Steelers fan? I want to know Steelers fans' opinions here, because I think a lot of Steelers fans will probably know that we both would want Justin Fields, but I don't know. I see it from their perspective. I think it's dumb though. I would like to see it play out, but I think if this experiment is going to play out, I see Justin Fields coming right back onto the field.
And can I just say one more thing? All right, I know my rant has been long, but I had people replying to me saying, well, Justin Fields isn't throwing the ball enough. Okay, hold on. Oh, is that the problem? Should we remove any context at all to this offense? The most important part of this puzzle being Arthur fucking Smith? The head coach for the Falcons, who the past 3 years were the worst passing offense in the NFL, the lowest volume in the NFL. Okay. We got to move on.
They play the Jets on Sunday night too, so it's not like he's going up and playing a decent team, like a bad defense. Like, I feel like Russell Wilson's getting thrown to the wolves low key.
Yeah.
Even though the Jets have been struggling, but like technically on paper they're a good defense.
Yeah. I mean, just don't come out here and tell me they need to throw the ball more and completely ignore the fact that your offensive coordinator is Arthur fucking Smith, all right? Ridiculous. That's not how Arthur Smith wins games. Like, please, tell me the 10 plus years, the over decade of experience Arthur Smith has in the NFL calling plays for offenses, and please show me the offense that is pass happy, that wins games around throwing the football.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
Thank you for staying with us through that rant. I hope Steelers fans can understand. I think I want to know what Billy the Foundation thinks. I think he's a Steelers fan. Anyways.
Well, all right.
That was
that's
enough.
That's enough rage. Let's get to the website questions. I appreciate y'all for being here with us. Clearly, I'm an opinionated person, and I just don't agree with this. I don't agree with this move. I don't understand it, but it is what it is, and it was what it was. Do me a favor, go ahead and smash that like button. We got a like goal today of 100 likes. With your help, I know we can get there. Okay, let's start with some questions here. The first one is a start-sit question, and this is from Crush5. It's a Superflex 12-team start 12 PPR tight end premium format. And
wow, start 12 is a big league.
Quarterback, he has options of Herbert, Stafford, May, Darnold, and this might surprise people, but my answer is Sam Darnold and Drake May. I love Drake May this week. I'm not ashamed to say it. I will publicly admit I love Drake May this week versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. One of the best matchups for your entire offense, including the quarterback position.
Yeah, I completely agree. I would say it's really close here with Matthew Stafford playing at home, coming off a bye, could potentially getting Puka back. I would say if Cooper Kupp is back, I would rather play Matthew Stafford this week.
Okay.
But I completely agree. Drake May, what a fun watch. And he's playing probably one of the worst, or has one of the best matchups for him to take off this week as well, against the Jacksonville Jaguars over there in London town. So I'll start Drake May if Cooper Kupp is not going to play, because if he does play, give me Matthew Stafford.
Yes. Okay. So at running back, we've got I'd rather start Madison over Moss this week personally. I don't know where you stand. Moss is at Cleveland. Madison is at the Rams. I'd rather face the Rams, and I just feel like I've been saying this for a couple weeks. Madison is a starter there for the Raiders. He'll get targets, he'll get goal line work, so he's my option there. We'll start Achane as long as he's healthy. If not, you can pivot to right. At wide receiver, you've got Addison. You have a lot of options here. Holy moly. Well, CeeDee Lamb's on bye, right? So he's starting Addison. At wide receiver 2, he's considering Downs, Mooney, Kirk, and Ladd McConkey. So between those names, assuming Anthony Richardson is back and playing, to me, the answer would be Darnell Mooney here.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. That should be a much more competitive game. He's considering Hawkinson, Fant, and Colby at his tight end spot. If Hawkinson comes back, I'm kind of in the position where, like, why wouldn't I just throw him out there, right? Just see what happens, unless he's on a snap count. If they come out and they're like, all right, he's on a snap count, we will
and this could be the revenge game too. He could be coming out off an injury, playing against his old team. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So unless they come out with a report saying he's limited, then we'll go Parkinson. At flex, we are considering Downs. I don't think you can play Herbert because it's a 2-quarterback league unless there's 3 super flex. That would be crazy. But let's assume you can't play Herbert here. Downs, Fant, Kirk, McConkey, Parkinson. And I think for me, the answer would be Downs and McConkey.
Yep, exactly.
With those first 2 names. And then at the last flex, I guess you're throwing Kirk out there, right? All right, my computer just did that really cool thing where everything on my computer gets disconnected that's connected via USB. So sorry about that. No one just heard whatever you just said, but we're on the same page here pretty much. Are you going Kirk? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm going Kirk as well.
Okay, cool. So big lineups, man. And honestly, not a bad team at all for how huge your
No,
lineups are. Well done.
this is great. This is a great team. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
All right, Gregory
Who else we
is the
got?
next one here. Jared says, who to start over Tank, Alexander Madison, Tracy, or Mostert on waivers. Also drop Moss to get Pop Douglas. Okay, so he's starting Hurts, Pollard, Bijan, Diggs, Chase at tight end. Ferguson is on
On a
bye,
bye week. Yeah,
so we don't have
you
an
you
option
got you
to
got
pick
to
his
pick
tight
up.
end.
You got to pick up somebody there. I
And
guess
then
we
his other
can.
question is who to start over Tank, Madison, Tracy, or Mostert. I'll say this: if Etienne doesn't play, and it looks like he doesn't, I'll probably play Tank Bigsby over Moss. DJ Moore's on bye.
Yep, I'm there with you. DJ Moore's on bye, and I'm starting DK. So that's perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Would you start Bucky over Tank if White doesn't play?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good convo to have too. But Baltimore, I don't know, dude. I actually think I would start Bigsby. Baltimore's tough. I'm just thinking this through
Baltimore
right
is-
now.
Baltimore is tough, but maybe they get creative. Maybe he's a pass catching guy. I mean, obviously Bucky can also catch the ball, but Sean Tucker obviously is going to help them if he's going to continue to play the way he did last
Yeah.
week. So maybe it's going to take a lot more pressure off of Bucky to do those 1-2 punches and then be more of the pass catching guy. So
Okay. That could be.
I
could be
will
the
ride.
case.
I would ride with the other guy though.
And then at tight end, you got to pick up a name. You should be able to see expert consensus rankings, and if you're a member, you'll be able to see our rankings, and you'll see what tight end I would have ranked highest.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Hey, by the way, if you're out there and you're like, all right, what's going on? We are answering questions via our website, flockfantasy.com. There's a pinned comment where you can submit a question. You can submit a team review over there to us. You can submit a trade question. Team review, trade question, start, sit, a super message if you just want to ask a question. So definitely go check that out. And if you haven't created a free account, definitely go do so. I'll send a link in the chat right now to create a free account. You'll get access to a lot of cool free features, including the league analyzer. You can add your league if you're in Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo. Again, use the promo code LAND to unlock some of those free features. And then if you want to get like a team review or a trade question, start, sit, super message, all that is available to you with the pinned comment in the chat box. The next question, and then we will get to super chats as well afterwards, by the way, guys. We see your super chats. But by the way, I would suggest trying the website out. It's a really great site, and you don't have to wait around for your question to be answered because it will send you a time code to exactly when we answered your question on stream. The site is a great benefit to you. But Munch says, is it crazy that I'm scared to take this trade, or is it a smash? To me, this is a smash for the Adams side. I wouldn't overthink this.
1,000%, especially with we don't know if when Bryce Young is going to come, and if that does happen, you're going to be like, why didn't I do this trade?
Yeah.
So
The
I completely
Panthers
agree.
are having less and less reasons to start Andy Dalton, and that should be concerning, I think.
Exactly.
All right, next question here is from Munch, and it's another trade. He says, I think I like this one better than my last one that I sent in. So he gets Cooper and Dell, sends away Downs and Deontay. I mean, I like that one as well. Both are great options. Whichever one gets across the line, we'll take that. But the potential upgrade with Dell, with Nico being out, I think is even better.
I would say in the start, I would rather have Devontae Adams, in a smaller league. But if you need a little bit more depth, sure, give me Tank Dell and Amari Cooper. If you just, once again, if you need that depth, but if not, I think either or is great.
Actually, very good point. My mind, for some reason, said Devontae Adams, even though it shows Amari Cooper. So I do prefer the Devontae Adams trade in a smaller starting lineup. So we're on the same page there. All right, Billy Spriggs, the Foundation Kingdom Builder. I appreciate you, man. He says, start 3. Who rides the bench this week? So just so you guys know, when you're submitting your start sit questions, first thing I would suggest is actually to link your team on the My Teams feature, because what will happen is when you go to start sit, you'll see here on the left, you can actually already, like for the Flock League, for example, I'll choose that. It will automatically import my settings. And then what will happen is this is my starting lineup. These are my options. And I can say, I already know I'm going to start, let's say, for example, Kirk Cousins. But at running back, I'm trying to decide between, I'm considering names like Ford, Sermon, whatever the case may be, right? This isn't even my team. But I think this is Bush's team. But anyway, hopefully that makes sense.
So he says start 3. So essentially we have to sit 1 here.
Okay.
Out of these options, and Billy, maybe we'll choose the one that we should sit and plug him in, if that makes any sense.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
I'm not sure where you lean, but I had obviously I'm doing the shorts channel, and I have Jordan Addison as a must start and a Jackson Smith-Njigba as a must start this week. 2 guys that I'm really excited about based off their matchup. Oddly enough, this might be Amari Cooper. He gets traded. Okay. I'm not sure what that timeline is going to look like in the turnaround. The Buffalo Bills playing the Titans this week. So I'm going to sit Amari Cooper this week.
Tough, really tough call. I think the sit for me would be JSN. Okay. We are, and I love JSN. Y'all know I traded for him in the Flock League, bought his jersey and everything. But we're in a situation here with JSN where there is a ton of targets, but they're not as valuable as you want them to be. It's almost like Wan'Dale Robinson, as sad as that is to say. And they're just not down the field targets very often. And sometimes they are, but they're just not valuable. They're not accurate. So if Amari Cooper gets 4 targets in Buffalo, that might be equivalent to 8 targets for JSN. So it's really, really tough. But I'm probably going to sit JSN here. And yeah, hopefully he's able to hear that.
Yeah.
That part of that question. All right, Trump Force is the next one. Hold on, that failed to go through. Let's try and update this.
Trump Force? I don't see Trump Force. Let me refresh.
Billy, Billy, we did just have a conversation on this. If you're getting sent a time code, go check it out about 3 minutes ago. Move back, but I said I would sit JSN. Badaki said he would sit Amari Cooper. So hopefully that is helpful, my friend. All right, moving on to Trump Force here. It's a super message, and he says, move Cooper, Waddle, and Connor. Who can I target to make my team better? Thoughts? Thanks, guys. Okay, so is the question... Is this a trade question?
Yeah, I guess he wants to move either of those 3 players and who to target there.
Okay.
Sure. Well, I'll be honest. I want to keep Waddle because of hopefully Tua coming back here, and he may not be coming back this week, but maybe the week after with all those conversations and reports that's been coming out. But maybe packaging Amari Cooper and Connor and trying to trade up and tier up maybe at the running back position if you do need somebody, or maybe even the wide receiver position. That would be exciting. I think there's a lot of context here. It just depends on who you want and who you need as well. Just have to look here.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I feel like this is a trade that will be best suited in a team review because you're basically asking us what to do with your team, but we don't know what the rest of your team looks like. We don't know the settings of your league. We don't know if it's a super flex, a 1 quarterback, a dynasty, a start 7, a start 9, a start 10, tight end premium and all that. So it's hard to really give you an answer without knowing what the rest of your team looks like, because then we could actually, put together some trade ideas for you. But as far as these names, Amari Cooper, Jalen Waddle, and James Conner is really the one I'd want to sell. And if you can package him in a different name to upgrade at running back, I think that's ideal. I'd rather hold Amari Cooper to see what he could be with Buffalo, and same with Jalen Waddle when Tua comes back.
Yeah, I think it's Tapman. He said I got my team linked to my account. I guess we can't really look at your team, unfortunately, unless you send in, I guess that sort of question or that sort of request there. But yes, I see that you said you want to get rid of all 3 of those guys, but I think Zach and I are both kind of on the same page. Keep Waddle, see if Tua comes back, if that is the case. And if you are, I would say like below 500, maybe you're 1-4 or 2-4. Sorry, 1-5 or 2-4. Maybe it's probably best to package these guys, but if you're winning and above 500, maybe it's best to keep those 2 wide receivers and then sell James Conner, because I think we could potentially see, we could see Trey Benson starting to get this opportunity here soon. But hopefully that happens.
Yeah. So again, with these kind of questions, it's hard to really give you great answers because we don't know what other teams have, right? We don't know how we can formulate trades without seeing the other teams, and it's really best through a team review. But that is our best answer right now with the limited information that we have. Would be willing to package James Conner in a 2-for-1 to try and upgrade at running back and get a more reliable name. Like, for example, if I can somehow turn a James Conner into a Montgomery rest of season, a Walker, bet on CMC if you're a team that's like 5-1 or 6-0. Right? That's the kind of ideas I would say.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, Whole Milk is King
is
says,
next.
on the fence about Kyler, other member is also willing to do Cook in place of Achane. Thank you, gents. So this is a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 7. One side gets Monty, Kyler, and Kraft. The other side gets Stroud and Achane. Yeah, I wouldn't do this. I guess you're doing this trade to upgrade at quarterback, but I wouldn't do it personally.
So Kyler, Kraft, and Monty. Yeah, I won't. I feel like Monty and Devon kind of cancel each other out right now. The way Monty's been playing,
Like they're in the same tier for me. So
yeah, I would.
I don't like the idea of losing Kyler and Kraft for CJ spot, basically.
Yeah, and I feel like you're not getting much for Tucker Kraft right now, even though he had a bye week or like a down week, excuse me. Like I feel like I would want to be getting more because it looks like you have Travis Kelce.
Remove Kraft off this trade. That's then it's more fair. But right now it doesn't seem like it's worth. Like I get the idea of wanting to move off Monty, but or not wanting to move off Monty, but wanting to move off of Kyler. But I don't think this is worth it. I don't think you're extracting as much value as you could from the trade. So
yeah, I feel like people should value Devon still higher than Monty. I mean, you can see it here, RB7, RB11. There should be a little bit more of value there for you technically, and he's a guy that's sharing the backfield where Devon is technically not, even though Raheem's coming back. So I think there's an argument to be said where like you should get more instead of you giving up more. For those two guys.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully that is helpful. All right, next is Mason Dodd oiled up, and it's a start sit. I want to see that here. Do you? So at quarterback, he says, please help Lave and Marvin head bonk and CD on bye. I'm cooked. All right, so
oh boy,
at quarterback he's choosing between Stroud and Purdy. So CJ Stroud this week at Green Bay. That's probably where I'm leaning. I think that could be a very high-scoring game.
Yep.
I prefer to start him over Purdy, who faces a tough Chiefs defense. At running back, he's got Monty and Pollard. At wide receiver, he's considering between really. I mean, look, your kind of decisions are made for you. You got to go Ayuk and Jameson. No,
exactly, Ayuk and Jameson. And if I mean, are you starting Ayuk or? Sorry, you're starting Chris Olave over Jameson or Ayuk if he plays?
I genuinely, wholeheartedly believe he will not play. As in, he's not in my rankings this week. But
okay.
If he plays, I would start him over probably Jameson, but I just don't think he does.
Sometimes these concussions, depending on how people recover, sometimes they could come back in the next week, or sometimes it takes them a couple of weeks, like Malik Neighbors. So.
And Chris Olave this is his third documented head injury. So
and it's Thursday night, so it's a shorter week there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And then obviously at tight end is Sam Laporta. And then at the flex position, I will say if Marvin Harrison plays, who has a couple more days than Chris Olave, I'll start him. If not, I'm going to be going Raheem Mostert and Kareem Hunt.
I think you meant Ramondre Stevenson, right?
Ramondre Stevenson, sorry, and Kareem Hunt.
That's where I lean as well. And if Ramondre does not play, you can put probably Bucky out there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. We're on the same page there. All right, next question here is from Chase. I appreciate y'all for being here with us. If you want to get your question with a guaranteed reply, check out the website. There's a pinned link in the chat. I'll also put it here. If you drop the super chat, don't worry, we will get to it. We just always start with the website questions. So anytime, you see us streaming, you can actually put a question in. Let's say like tomorrow's stream, you put a question in an hour before we go live. You'll probably be one of the first questions that we answer. We'll always start with the website. And by the way, you don't have to wait around for your question to be answered because it sends you a time code with our answer, which is great. Shout out to Chase here. He's starting Daniels. It's a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 8. He's considering Cook, Robinson, and Achane. To me, if Brian Robinson plays, he's my favorite play of those 3 names this week versus the Carolina Panthers. I would have no issues putting him out there. He's a top 12 play for me. Love all the names that you have here as options, but If B-Rob is in there, he's basically discount Walmart Derrick Henry on a very high-powered offense that's going to get into the red zone a lot versus pretty much the best matchup for your running back versus the Carolina Panthers. Remember, last week, Bijan got right, and Tyler Algier had one of his best games as a professional. So I would go that way. And then between Achane and Cook, I probably lean Cook without Tua being with the Dolphins.
Sure.
And then at flex, I think you have to start London over Achane. But that's how I would answer this.
It's definitely tough. Like, I feel like you have to play your best players. I feel like Devon is your best player, even though obviously without Tua, like Zach mentioned. But I understand the whole Brian Robinson motion. I don't want to sit Brian Robinson, but it's really hard to sit Devon. I think this is a really great team. I think what you should do is maybe consolidate and maybe sell Devon and see what you can get, because you might be fine riding with James Cook and Brian Robinson the rest of the season, or you can just keep him however way you want to do that. But I would agree, it's hard to start Devon right now. But I think if he does play, I might start him over Brian Robinson, and I'm starting Drake London there. But I completely understand where you're coming from.
Totally. Okay. All right. The Dennis family is next. What's up, Jay? Dennis says, struggling at running back. I recently got rid of Braylon Allen for Singletary on waivers. Hope it goes through. Okay. At running back, we don't have an option here to choose from, unfortunately. But at wide receiver, he is choosing between Romeo Doubs and Jameson Williams this week.
Yeah,
probably no Wicks.
Yeah.
Probably. How about Reed? We haven't heard any update on Reed.
Nah, we probably won't get up. Well, Reed did come back into the game, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but he did come back to the game.
My concern is every time a player's done that this year with an ankle injury, they've missed the next week.
Right.
It's just been momentum carrying them pretty much.
He did that as well early in the season, where he left the game and then came back. I think it was like week 2 or 3. But yes, I do agree. Like, if there is something wrong, then maybe Romeo is the way to go. But I just like Jameson Williams matchup this week here against, I think he's playing the Vikings. So
yes,
I just want a piece of that offense.
Jameson's fine.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if Reed doesn't play, then I'll probably switch my answer to Dobbs.
Okay. He also said, the Dennis family's in the chat, he says Etienne Singletary over Rashad White. No worries. I feel like it's crazy to say, but I feel like you still have to start Travis Etienne. I don't know how we can start Singletary with Tyrone and the way he's been going, and I don't want to start Rashad White because he might still be dealing with injuries.
That's a tough one.
It's not ideal because you have Tank and Etienne.
Well, Etienne won't play. I'm very confident Etienne won't play. He's not actually in my rankings this week either.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then what about Rashad White? Is he going to play?
I don't know the answer to that one yet. Your Giants play the Eagles.
Yeah, we played the Eagles.
I think I'd just throw Rashad White out there, to be honest, if he plays. Both are in bad matchups. Rashad's matchup is arguably worse. I guess Singletary is the better answer, actually. I mean, Singletary don't know what his role will be with Tyrone.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest concern. But like, they've been moving the ball. That's the best thing I can say. They've been passing it way more than anything. So hopefully that helps.
Appreciate you, Dennis. All right, Happy Emo says, don't trust Kyler at the moment. 2-4. I need this W. I got blind faith in y'all. Thanks. I got blind faith in myself every day. It's blind faith. All right, Kyler or Drake May? Probably no Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, I was going to say Drake May technically has a better matchup. No Marvin Harrison. It's going to be, Monday Night Football against the Chargers, who, if I'm not mistaken, are pretty decent against the pass. I'm just going to triple check that for scheduled adjusted. But, yeah, man, that's tough.
Chargers are like bottom third. Yeah, not a great matchup.
Yeah, bottom third.
Kyler can just... It just takes one play for him.
What has been happening? I was watching that game. He just got...
Well, when they lost Marvin, the game plan kind of went to shit.
He's still a top 10 quarterback right now. it's just
Yeah. I would probably play Drake May
okay.
versus the Jags. It's just he could turn the ball over 4 times and still have 30 points versus the Jags.
At running back, you have Kenneth Walker with Breece Hall.
You're not going to answer that question because it's tough, or
No, I said Drake May earlier. I was just like, but I was trying to make the argument with Carla. I was like, he's still a top 10 quarterback right now, you know?
I don't think you ever answered it. But okay, so you're Drake
Oh,
May.
sorry. Yeah. I guess I was agreeing, and I was like, yo, Kyler Murray's still a top 10 quarterback. It's just tough right now. It's tough to start him.
At wide receiver, you're starting Neighbors. You can't sit him. My wide receiver 3 this week. Between Garrett Wilson, I mean, I still think you have to start Wilson there. At flex, it's really between Thomas, Devonta, and Kareem.
I would go Malik, Garrett Wilson, and Devonta Smith this week.
Okay.
Brian Thomas technically could have a great bounce back game, but in Kareem, that's technically is a tough defense, technically on paper, but yeah. I'll start the wide receivers.
I am going to lean Brian Thomas here. Love the matchup versus New England. Pretty much everyone is winning versus New England. I was very strong on not starting Thomas last week. Still love Devonta Smith, by the way. But I'm going to lean Brian Thomas in this matchup. It's very close. They're in the same category for me.
Okay.
All right.
Fair.
Brando here with a trade. And he says, thoughts on Kincaid with Amari add. League mates also said he'd switch Bijan for Achane if needed. I prefer probably still want to keep Bijan there, but I definitely okay, hold on. The Monty McBride side wins by a landslide. It's not even close.
Yeah, no question.
Even if you make that Achane, it's not even close. The difference between McBride and Kincaid is massive.
Pretty significant right there. So don't overthink that. You keep.
You're getting a running back in the same tier, and you're down tiering by multiple tiers from McBride to Kincaid, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next question here is from Chris Cochran. He says, 18-man league, having a hard time mainly picking my quarterback, but open to opinions on other positions. All right. So, Trevor Lawrence and Drake May. I'm starting Drake May. You agree?
Yeah. I'm there with you.
I'm going to tell a lot of people to start Drake May as a streaming option this week, so that will be interesting.
It has one of the best matchups, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if we actually explained that. He has one of the best matchups. The Jacksonville Jaguars give up the most points to the quarterback position when looking at schedule adjusted points. Not only that, they give like a top 5 points to running backs. I think they also give up top 3, or I think they're first in giving points to wide receivers as well. Like this is and should be the game for Drake May. Okay, so I don't think we've said that.
Yeah,
we just
wide
been saying
receiver.
Drake May.
He's got Neighbor starting, which is great. He's starting between Douglas, Yeshivas, and Leggett. I'll put Douglas in there.
Yep, I'm there with you.
Tight end, Gesicki or Andrews. You might as well go Andrews. Gesicki is losing his job to a rookie. And then at flex, we're considering names like Tyrone, Kareem, Leggett. To me, Kareem is the safest play there. Even though Clyde is coming back, I still think Kareem will be the number 1 running back in that backfield.
I'm right there with you.
Okay, so we're on the same page. That is great to see. Let me see if there's any more questions before we go on. Okay, yeah, we definitely have more questions. Guys, if you want to get your questions answered, definitely check out the website. I'll put a link in the chat here for you. It's already the pinned comment. That's where you can submit a question and get it prioritized. But we will get to the super chats as well, I promise you. If you're out there and you've donated a super chat, I promise we'll get to you. Be a friend, hit that like button. So close to 100. That is awesome. But Glide27 is in an 8-team start 7 league. He's starting Pat Mahomes, Chuba Hubbard, Bijan Robinson, Zay Flowers, Devontae Adams, and I'm going to go ahead and say Marvin Harrison Jr. won't play. I can't think of a time a wide receiver has left a game with an injury and not come back, a head injury, and then played the next week. At least I haven't remembered that happening the last year. So the question is Amari Cooper or JSN. I guess Wandale too. Wandale's an option here too. And Downs, but
For me,
Anthony
this would be
Richardson will
Jackson
play.
Smith and Jigba, most likely with the high upside.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of starting Tucker Craft, so I think that's probably a downside. I wasn't a huge fan of starting him last week, and he didn't really come out. But I mean, they were up really early, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I checked
I'll-
that performance up to. They didn't really need to throw it. To him.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be utilized again this week in should be a high scoring game against the Texans. Anyways, for me, this would be Jackson Smith and Jigba this week.
Look, I think this is a very difficult question. If Amari Cooper's full go, I probably would just prefer to put him out there and see what happens. I think the safest play, oddly enough, is probably Wandale. In a game where they're going to need him versus the Eagles. But to me, in order, Amari if you need a boom, Wandale if you need safety. That's how I would rank it. But I also have JSN in the same tier as well as Downs. So you got 4 names all in the same tier for me. It is really close. Really close.
Yeah.
Pablo submitted a trade question here. Need a second running back till CMC comes back. If he does, anything you would do to improve my team at 4-2? So
I'll tell you what right now. I don't want George Pickens.
yeah,
I don't want him at all whatsoever.
This is a really bad trade.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
like
even
Zay
close.
Flowers right now. Zay Flowers 2 games back to back where he's being utilized, which has been exciting. I hope that he can continue, and I think that should continue this week. He's the start of the week for me this week. I love the matchup, especially against the Bucks. That should be a high scoring game, but I don't like this trade.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons I don't like it, but I will say I do think Pickens is a buy low in deeper formats. But if you guys are out there in like 8 teams, 10 teams, 12 teams, and you're like start 7 lineups, I just don't really think you can rely on Pickens ever. But in 14, 16 team leagues where you've got, bad names at flex, I think Pickens is a good buy low. But I just don't have much interest in him. And we love Jonathan Brooks, but Chuba Hubbard is playing like one of the best running backs in the NFL. I don't feel like you're getting enough value back in return here. I think a fair counter
for Jonathan Brooks too.
Same. I'm starting to get worried, but a fair counter here would be like, honestly, I feel like Metcalf and Pollard is a better counter. Like, maybe that's reaching too high. I mean, compared to all the players he has, that's the best counter I can think of.
Yeah, I would agree. Maybe Metcalf and Pollard.
That works, but definitely don't do the Pickens trade. And
Agreed.
There's no way that guy's going to agree to it if he was throwing Pickens in the deal.
Exactly.
We have a super message from BXR dude who says, "Sup guys, I have a great team sitting at 1-5. F me dead. Kyler or Aaron Rodgers or Drake May." So, funnily enough, we just answered a relatively similar question. BXR, who by the way is Daniel 007.
Love
Look,
that, man.
I'm going to tell a lot of people to start Drake May this week as a streaming quarterback. I'm not going to tell the people who have the Mars and the Jaden Daniels of the world and even the Baker Mayfields of the world, but those people out there who are struggling at quarterback and Drake May is an option, I'm going to tell so many of you to start Drake May. The matchup is so good versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has rushing upside. I'm going to say Drake May here. 26 points in his first ever game.
Yeah, he did great, and that was a tough defense as well. That wasn't an easy game. And I think they scored the most points so far in the season for the Patriots, and 21 points, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So I'm there with you. I think Drizzy, or technically Drake May, he should be starting. Let me ask you this. Would you start Aaron Rodgers over Drake May with Devontae Adams coming in, playing against the Steelers?
Nah. Even when Adams, Rodgers hasn't been good in fantasy in years, and that there are some years where he had Adams and he wasn't good in fantasy. So,
okay, just wondering, because I think that's where a lot of people are going. Devontae Adams coming back, or the connection, blah blah blah.
I think he's a stash, but I'm not gonna play him over some of those other names.
Yeah.
All right, Trump
I hear
Force here with another question. He says, I don't know if I can improve on starters, move Cooper and Connor, who to target and what position. So Trump is kind of trying to disguise this as a team review with the start sit question. So we can't give as much love to this question as a team review, but we'll definitely look at your team. Jalen Hurts, Joe Mixon. You're obviously starting Joe Mixon. You're starting Bijan Robinson. Drake London is obviously in your lineup. Same with AJ Brown, Evan Ingram. You play him over Ferguson, who's on bye. At flex, he's choosing between names like Higgins, Dobbins, Cooper, Jones. A lot of great names here. I mean, it's really for me between Higgins and J.K. Dobbins. Those are the two names I'm considering. And don't look now, but T. Higgins is averaging more targets per game in like three games since he came back from injury. So I feel like the answer is T. Higgins, but it's very close with J.K. Dobbins, who has a great matchup versus the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Dobbins is a safer play, and Higgins is the upside play.
yeah. I'm going T. Higgins here. I would say I feel more confident starting Aaron Jones over J.K. Dobbins. I know technically it's a tough matchup, but I'm still going to go there. I think you can get passing upside. So for me, it'll be T. Higgins for sure. And if you wanted like that running back option, I would go Aaron Jones, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I know
look,
like you wanted to consolidate, like
as far as this
I can
team,
see-
like how exactly do you upgrade on this team? I mean, you can package Amari Cooper and I mean, really, you can't improve this team. I mean, I guess you could package
you,
Amari Cooper and Ingram and try and go get Brock Bowers or something crazy
that's
like
what
that.
I'm saying. Like
But
maybe get Brock Bowers, but he has Jake Ferguson there. I mean, unless you package, you do a 3-for-1, and you do someone that's struggling. You do Aaron Jones, Amari Cooper, and James Conner or whatever, and see if you can squeeze out a JJ or a Nico Collins. Maybe you're pretty good right now, and you're 5-1, and you can sit and wait for Nico. Sure, go do that. But right now, it's just like, it's kind of hard to improve this team the way your team is
it's a great team.
Going right now.
You should feel good about
Yeah.
it. Appreciate you, man. All right, Manny is the next question here to start. He says, thanks for the help. Also, any upgrades I should make on the team, especially at the running back and wide receiver spot. So at quarterback, we're deciding between Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield. Love Baker Mayfield this week, but I am going to go Jalen Hurts with his weapons back. He just has such a safe floor every single week and such a high ceiling. We're going to start Jacobs and Saquon for sure. At wide receiver, you're definitely starting Debo and A.J. Brown, but at flex, he's choosing between Tank Bigsby and Lad McConkey.
This would be Lad for me.
Okay.
I just like this matchup against the with the Chargers. I think if he does play, because I think that might be something that you have to consider. I'm pretty sure he left the game with that ankle injury, but I'm pretty sure he did come back with that as well. But if he's going to be struggling with that all week and he's trending to being questionable, you might have to start Tank, or you might have to start Tank. That's basically what I would say.
So I definitely hear where you're coming from. I would personally lean Tank Bigsby here. I totally understand the rationale for either choice, but this is one of the best matchups for your running backs this week for Tank Bigsby. I am in my rankings indicating that ETN won't play. He's been labeled week to week with a hamstring, and I don't think that this team is going to be down multiple scores versus the Patriots. I see a much more neutral game script. Tank Bigsby has been one of the better running backs in the NFL 5 out of 6 weeks. So I'm going to go Tank, but Badak is going to go Lad, and I can see the rationale for both, and you'll hear both of our answers when you get sent the time code over on the Flock site. I think we do have a couple more questions here on the site. Let me just double check.
Appreciate you guys. You guys been killing it with the questions on the site and the super chat.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you, man. It's been awesome.
Dallas Earl says, want another elite running back because I feel like I have good receivers already. Still not sure. Thoughts? Ooh, this is too much. This is too much.
7.
It's an 8-team league, but
so he has Kyler Murray, Derrick Henry, James Cook.
Make it Jordan Mason instead.
Yeah.
Make it Jordan Mason instead and call it a day.
And you have AJ Brown, Brian Thomas, Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Or don't send like your best wide receiver away either. Like maybe, well, you have AJ Brown. don't know. You have
And
Jaden
Godwin,
Reed.
yeah.
My goodness, this is crazy. A crazy team.
Yeah.
Maybe it
if
might
you can
be
make
worth
it
it.
Mason, yes, but it's an 8-team league. It's a smaller format. I mean, you can even add Jordan Brooks in there, if Jonathan Brooks in there if you need to, or Rico Dowdle. But
Yeah.
I don't think you should give up James Cook and Amon-Ra. It's close though.
Yeah. I'm there with you.
Appreciate you, man. All right, the
Okay.
next one is a trade question from Seta. Says, I have Hurts, Gibbs, Bucky, choose Chase, Tracy, CD, Reed, Mike, Smitty, BTJ, Worthy, and Kraft. So they are receiving Kyron. They're sending Brown, Evans, and Tracy. It's a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 8. So without Brown and Tracy, he would have Kyron, Gibbs, Bucky. Without Evans, his wide receiver room goes to Chase. Or no, not Chase. CD, Jaden Reed, Devonta Smith, Brian Thomas.
Devonta Smith, Brian Thomas.
I think you can afford to do this, but I'd just be worried about sending Tracy away before knowing what he can be.
I just wonder if I can get like a small player. Like, can you get Juju back?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Like, I just feel like doing the 3-for-1, and I get it. Like, I feel like Chase Brown is growing to his role. Mike Evans is still a top, 15 wide receiver. Tyrone Tracy is going to have a role here. So like these guys are not valuable. They're just guys growing in their role here. So I don't know. Maybe add Juju and see what happens. And
Juju
if not,
or
then-
Leggett.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fair counter. All right, Gly says, what's a good trade for Walker, or should I even get him? So Adams and Cooper for Walker. Like, for me, that feels too high. I do think Adams is going to be a league winner rest of season. Have him ranked as a top 12 receiver. I know you and I see that a little bit differently, but
Yeah.
that seems like a
outside
little
top five.
bit too much for me. I mean, let's counter here. Let's think of a counter. Could you add Jameson in, for example? That feels like that could even the trade a bit more.
Sure. I
But
like
in a
Jameson,
start 7-8 team league, Jameson doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say like to even sweeten the deal, maybe add Josh Downs if he doesn't like that. I don't know how you feel about that. Or
Yeah.
because this is a star 7, you're probably never going to start Josh
Well,
Downs anyway.
Could you counter that by making it Adams and Downs
Sure.
instead
can
of
try that
Adams
as
and
well.
Cooper? That's
Yeah,
an
I'm happy
idea.
to try that first. But if he still wants to do that other side of the trade where he wants Adam and Cooper, and he's like, well, I need something else in return for Jameson, okay, then throw in Josh Downs. Once again, you're
It
probably
feels like
never going to start him.
you're doing a lateral move then, to me. But
Okay, yeah, I mean, I personally would rather just have, I guess, Josh Downs. I mean, Jameson, but I get what you're saying. Like,
yeah, I know Josh Downs hasn't had Anthony Richardson yet, but he looks to be their best receiver. I think he's safer in the slot with A-Rich than any other receiver there, and he's like top 4 in points since coming back. It's a tough call. I mean, can you add like Rico Dowdle to this deal and instead of Jameson, get back Tony Pollard or something? So it would be Ken and Tony for Adams and Cooper. Those are some counters I would think of personally.
yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that.
All right,
don't
I
mind this
think
either.
those are all the questions on the site. I'm not 100%.
Think we have one more.
Okay,
One more.
one more on the site.
Yeah, one more on
Yes.
the site here. It says, hey guys, should I also start Steelers and Saints defense this week? Okay, so looks like you're considering the flex option here.
Let's start with Steelers or
And-
Saints. What's your answer there? Steelers or Saints?
I'll be honest, I don't want to start either of those guys. I don't want to start Steelers versus the Jets. So that means I'll go Saints.
Yeah. I lean Saints as well versus Denver. Rookie quarterback who's been playing well, but turnovers are always an option there. So I'll lean
exactly.
Saints as well. At flex, he says
There's
Drake
getting a
May,
lot
but
of
this
people
doesn't
here.
look like a super flex league, so I'm assuming Drake May is out of this conversation. But to me, this is Devontae Adams for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I think you could make a case for Deontay Johnson,
Mhm.
but like if you're worried about Devontae Adams not fitting in straight away, But in an 18
That
league, I feel like you
actually,
need
yeah.
absolute hammers. So
Let me just triple check because I do agree. I mean, like Deontay Johnson playing the Commanders, some of the best matchup here.
it's, the Commanders are actually a much better defense than they were to start the year. It is
Yeah,
still
I
a good
definitely
matchup,
agree.
but they have definitely gotten better. That defense is no longer,
They,
the doormat of the league.
no, they went. I think they went from like first to third worst, or like the worst to
Mm.
like third worst. But I agree. You still have to start Devontae Adams, but I wouldn't be mad if you started Deontay Johnson. So if you're hearing this and
Sure.
you're saying I just don't trust Adams and you want to start Deontay, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a crazy move if that's the direction you want to go.
Yeah.
All right, guys, those are all the questions through the site right now. We have a team review. Maybe we'll do that team review when the rest of these questions kind of die down. Potentially today, we'll have to wait and see. But if you want to get your question answered and you want it prioritized, the best way to do that is through the website. It's the pinned comment. I also put it in the chat. And by the way, if you haven't signed up to the Flock site yet, you can sign up for a free account. Use our code LAND, LAND, when you signed up, and you'll get access to the team analyzer for free, so you can see where experts would rank you amongst the rest of your league, like you can see here. And for example, you can see like the best waiver options as well on the right side. It's a really cool feature. You get access to expert consensus rankings, the trade finder, etc. So if you don't have a free account yet, go do that. You can add your league if you're in Sleeper, ESPN, and Yahoo, but absolutely no pressure to do so. But then you can ask a question through the website as well, link your teams and everything. So that is an option to you. But let's go over to YouTube. We've got some super chats, and the first one is from Bentley. Do you see that?
Yeah, I can see it from
Okay,
Bentley.
go ahead. I'll be right back. I just have to pee.
Yeah, no worries. Bentley, appreciate the super chat. It says need a wide receiver for this week. Olave, Morrison, Harrison, and CD out. Benches Braylon, Sharps, Bucky, and Kraft. I have Laporta and a solid running back depth already. Who do I drop for Juju? Oh boy. Oh boy. If I had to drop one, it would most likely be Charbonnet. I like Braylon Allen. He's still getting that usage. But I'll be completely honest with you. I would drop Tucker Kraft because I don't believe that you're ever going to be starting him because, I mean, you probably could, but like, I mean, Sam Laporta already had that bye week. Tucker Kraft already having all that down game, even though he wasn't he wasn't utilized. But just to keep him, just in case, I will be dropping Zach Charbonnet here. So hopefully that helps. I appreciate you. So Bentley was in. The next question is from Michael. He says, drop Singletary for Lad, Myers, or Tank Bigsby. I think I want to, in a way, keep Singletary, but if I had to drop him, this will be my order. Especially in the PPR league, I would take Jacoby Myers, then Lad McConkey, then Tank Bigsby. So, yeah, I think Myers definitely gets utilized and helped this week, or in the foreseeable future, and I guess for the rest of the season because Devontae Adams is no longer there. He should be the number one wide receiver on that team. So that's kind of where I'll be leading right there. So Jacoby Myers, Lad, and then Tank. Melissa says, if Debo is boom or bust, who can I trade away for? Man,
Which question
that's a
are you on?
big
Did
list.
you answer Michael's? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm on Melissa's right
Okay.
now.
Okay, understood.
It just really depends on how those players are valued in your league, Melissa. I mean, Debo Samuel, I would say I still want to keep him. I think he had a great bounce back game, and that's kind of what I'm going to be expecting him for the rest of the season. So I personally wouldn't want to trade him away, but like at the moment, I personally think you can get the likes of, can you get a DK? Can you get I don't know if you want a Deontay Johnson, but Deontay Johnson has been performing right now. If you're in a win now scenario and somebody needs a wide receiver, can you squeeze out Nico Collins? I doubt you can do that. What about a Terry? Terry is exciting there for Debo Samuel right now. So those are a couple of names that I would try and go ahead and target. If you're going to try and trade away Debo Samuel.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. All right, moving on.
Christos,
We had Sal, obviously. Big love to Sal again. Yes, Christos.
Christos. This is Mason, Dobbins, Bucky, Chubb, Chuba, or Chubb. No, Chubb. Gosh,
Yeah.
it's weird
Well,
now that
this
Chubb is back.
I know. I was gonna say this will get really interesting, won't it?
Start
Look,
2. So this is.
Can I just say quickly with Nick Chubb, he is a wait and see if you can afford it. Okay, what does that mean? So if you're out there and you're like, I'm gonna have to start Zamir White. No, you just put Chubb in there, right? But if you have better options like this, I don't think you start Chubb. If Mason plays, this would be Mason and Dobbins for me. If Mason doesn't play, this would be Dobbins and Bucky for me.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Kieran says, "Kill the game, lads. We appreciate you. Thank you so much." He said these trades have been best case scenario for me in our home league for Adams and Myers. Just need D-Hop traded to the Chiefs. He said, should I trade away Godwin away on the high? No, I think we both want to keep Chris Godwin, brother. I mean,
sell him low, bro. Like, there's a team in your league named Blockbusters. We're
giving you the T.
If you send them Godwin, yeah. I mean, like, let's just put together a quick trade for him. Like, for example, if he sends away Godwin, I guess, like, I could give him Mitchell, for example. Like, that might work out really well for both of us. No, I mean, look, I've got Godwin in the Flock League, my 7th round pick there. And I think you do have to, like, make a call on these players where when they start playing well and they outperform their ADP, you make a decision where you're saying, all right, do I believe in this long term? Or is this like a sell high opportunity? And to me, after reviewing the analytics and like really diving into Chris Godwin and his usage, to me, this seems legit. And of course, anything can happen rest of the season. I did not see wide receiver 1 range of outcomes. He was one of my bounce back players of the year when he was going back into the slot, but I didn't see this. I thought top 20 could be an outcome, not wide receiver 1, which is where he is right now. So don't expect the wide receiver 1 overall finish, but top 12 is totally in the range of outcomes. The target share is there, consistently being targeted, and they put him back into the slot. And that has led to Chris Godwin having a career year. No, I'm serious. At the age of 28, after a serious injury, Chris Godwin has had his best ever career right now. I remember like when he had Jameis Winston, he was a top 3 wide receiver in fantasy. His career right now, this is the best season. He's career highs in yards per route run, career highs in yards per yak per reception. He's being targeted so often. This offense is one of the top 3 offenses in the NFL through 6 weeks. To me, I'm riding out this wave with Godwin. I mean, this is pretty much Cooper Kupp, but not the same target share, right?
Yeah, I agree. Just keep him, brother. Unless you get like a crazy trade.
Yeah, like Adonai Mitchell or something.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Kieran. We love you, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm doing shit in that league. My team is just dog water.
Yeah, I think I'm 4-2 now. 5-1. 5-1.
Yeah, my team is terrible in our home league. Aaron, he says, thank you so much for the super chat. What would you do with Garrett? I have Devontae and him. Maybe package Garrett with another piece and go for Amari. I would still want Garrett Wilson over Amari, even if they're both on the same team. I do believe it's going to be more of like a 1A, 1B, boom, bust potentially for both of these guys. Just depends on what you can get. I don't think a lot of people are seeing Garrett Wilson as the guy. And I don't think you can sell him. So I think it might be best to keep him.
Well,
personally.
This would be a scenario where I would try and trade Adams. Can I turn Adams into a Cooper Kupp before he comes back? Can I turn Adams into a Nico Collins if I'm a team that can wait on Nico Collins to come back? Can I package something and turn Adams into like an Amon-Ra? Can I do a straight swap for Godwin, right? That's the kind of move I'd be trying to make, because if everyone's looking one way, I'd like to play like the range of outcomes there and chase the value. But yeah, I mean, you could turn Garrett Wilson maybe into like a Jane Reeder or Terry McLaurin or a DK Metcalf if you wanted to.
Yeah, it just depends on, how you value those guys. Because I think a lot of people will still have Garrett Wilson potentially over the likes of Terry. But maybe you can get Terry and something else. But just know that I think in the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, Terry has been like a top 5 wide receiver, top 10, wide receiver.
Last 4 weeks, he's been top 5. He has.
Yeah. So it just really depends on what they value Terry in. So maybe get Terry and I don't know. Can you get Terry and Nika? Well, I doubt you could do that. But Terry and like a Zay Flowers or a T Higgins or a Cooper Cup who's injured or
I
Jalen
mean,
Waddle.
I have
Like, I don't
Terry
know if
ahead
you
of
could do
Garrett
all that.
Wilson personally, so
Yeah,
I'd be
sure.
shocked if you can get some of those deals.
Some of those guys, yeah, I understand. Cam's got kicks. He says, Kyler, what's the question here? He says, thoughts. He's 2-4. Record just felt like I need a change. Okay. Kyler, JT, Kyron, Rico, Brian Robinson, Chase Brown, Cooper Cup, Nico, Terry, Deontay, Brian
Well,
Thomas.
the reason you're 2-4 is because Cooper Cup's been out.
Yeah,
Your
Cooper
team
Cup's
isn't
been
bad.
out.
You've got JT,
Nico
you've
got
got
hurt.
Kyron, you've got
JT got hurt.
Nico.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you just need to hold on here, man. Honestly, like when Cup is back healthy, he should, and hopefully that's this week. He should be able to help you tremendously. He says traded Terry and B Rob for Tyreek and Ramondre,
Tyreek,
which I like that deal for a team that is.
a win now, like a team that's winning. But like you need Terry and B Rob now. Where Terry, you can't wait on Tyreek, excuse me, and Ramondre. So I don't think we would have recommended to do that trade because you're 2-4. But I mean, it's already done now. You kind of have to hope that Tua comes back sooner rather than later, which we know that he's not going to come back this week, maybe next week.
Yeah, but Tyreek does have a really good matchup this week, so that could be your saving grace. But not a bad team at all, man. I don't think you should over panic here. I don't think you should. We did get a question through the site.
I don't know if you know, but like you know that the Vikings are getting Cam Akers again.
Yeah,
That's a little bit concerning because of Aaron Jones. Like, why are you getting Cam Akers? Not saying like he's gonna change the game. Just saying, why are you getting? Do you get what I'm saying? Anyways,
no.
that's
What do you
just
mean by that? Because I'm not concerned at all. What do you mean?
Just, are you getting more depth, or are you concerned that Aaron Jones is gonna miss a significant amount of time?
Right. Okay.
That's basically where I'm at.
To me, this is more an indictment on Chandler, but
That's
I
one
don't
thing
know.
we
I
didn't
mean,
talk
yeah.
about, but I kind of.
it could be fair. I mean, maybe Jones is like a random IR candidate that we didn't anticipate. In that light, I get
Yeah.
it, but from like the perspective of like, will Akers have a role when Jones is healthy? No, it
No,
doesn't concern me.
absolutely not. Like, that doesn't concern me at all. Just like why you have to go out and get more depth. You just had a bye week. Aaron
can
Jones, was resting the whole time. Is he still not going to be healthy?
Yeah.
Are you concerned? Anyways,
No,
That's kinda where I'm
that's
at.
fair. All right, we got some questions through the site. If you want to prioritize your question, that is the best way to do so. I'll put a link in the chat. It's also the pinned comment in the chat. Man, I'm telling you what. I'm not just saying this because we benefit from it, but I'm telling you guys out there, if you haven't tried the website yet, the feedback is incredible. I mean, people love this website. We're so proud to be a part of it. And if you don't have an account yet for free, go do so. Create an account with the promo code LAND. You get 3 of the best features on the site for free, like the team analyzer, the trade calculator, and expert consensus rankings. And then, of course, you can link your teams with the team analyzer if you are with Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo. And then it makes it so easy to go and answer or ask questions for like start sits, for example. It automatically links your settings up, and then you can go and do your start sit. Anyway, if you haven't taken advantage of the site, definitely go check it out. Shout out to BB Fantasy. It's a super message, and it says thoughts on Fields with the Russ news. Drop him for Goff or just go with Mahomes, who's on my bench right now. So,
oh boy.
but like he said, oh no. Why did he say oh boy? Because at the beginning of the stream, I went on a rant about how annoyed I am at the Steelers and their decision-making process. But you can't start Fields. Not like if they name Russell Wilson the starter and they say we'll rock with 2 quarterbacks, you can't start either of those names, right? So at this point, you just have to play Mahomes, I think.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go play Patrick Mahomes. I would keep Justin Fields. Like, I think I still want Jared Goff over Justin Fields. As crazy as that sounds. So like, I'm happy to keep Jared Goff, but at the same time, like, both of those guys already had a bye week. Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes. And if you're rostering one of those quarterbacks or both of those quarterbacks, maybe it's time to drop one of them if you know you're always gonna start one the whole time. But I get what you're saying.
If a team needs a quarterback and they see value in Goff, but Goff's been pretty good, like picking it up the past couple weeks. Now he plays Minnesota, which is actually a really good matchup. You cannot beat them on the ground. You can beat them in the air. I'd have to double check with my rankings, but I might actually start Goff over Mahomes this week.
It definitely could be interesting. I'm still gonna go Patrick Mahomes. I think I might be with you here. I'm just looking it up. I have Jared Goff 2 spots ahead of Patrick Mahomes. So I'm with you there.
Okay, yeah. So we are starting Goff.
I was actually wrong when I said that I start Patrick Mahomes, but I'd rather, yeah.
Cool. Hopefully that is helpful, man. All right, the next question here is from Ben Cooper, and it's a start set, needs RB2 and flex to help. So starting Burrow, Lawrence in a 2-quarterback league. At RB2, we have Etienne, Chubb, Connor, Bigsby, Bucky, Braylon. And the way I would play this is if Connor plays, I'd start him. I don't think Etienne's playing. He won't play in my opinion. Now, if Connor is out, it would be Bigsby for me in a great matchup. That's how I'd answer this question. And I think Connor will miss time, so I'll put Bigsby there, but that context is important.
Sure. And if Connor is out and Etienne's out, you put Tank. That means he needs to start another person in the flex.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Let's go to flex then. Who would your preference be here then?
Okay, I was like, I didn't know if you answered it. It would be Bucky then.
Okay, yeah. So I get where you're going there. Both of them are in play, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you sit Bucky and play Connor if Connor plays, right?
Exactly.
You don't get cute with Chubb just yet.
Nah.
But honestly, though, hold on, though, because, like, to be honest, the scenario where Rashad, Sean, and Bucky all play, are you not going to pivot from Bucky to a Chubb? Or pivot from Bucky to a Leggett versus the Commanders? Like, to me, if all 3 of those running backs are active, I think I'm going to play Leggett.
Against Washington, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, I guess we have to kind of put that in there because that is an option. So I would be leaning Xavier. Yes, I'm starting Xavier over all of those guys. Would you start TJ Hawkinson if he plays? If he's a full go? I would if we get that report. I doubt it, but I would. Over Leggett. I doubt that's gonna happen.
I think I just put Leggett out there and just see it first, you know.
Sure.
Because it's just such a good matchup for Leggett too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely get like that is genuinely a tough question. All right, we got another super message here on the site from eDub. Says struggling at 2 and 4. Any start sit suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Just signed up. Well, all right. So eDubs, you did a super message. We can't see your team here, my friend. So the way you need to go about doing that is by the start sit question, right? So step 1 for you eDubs is going to be linking your team. Go to My Teams, add new, and then enter your sleeper ID or ESPN, whatever, Yahoo, whatever the case may be there. Once you've done that, then you can come here to the start sit questions, and I'll just show you an example. For example, my team in the Alpha League, it'll automatically import your settings. You hit continue. It'll show you your offensive, your lineup. And then let's say I know I'm playing Lamar this week. Okay, how about quarterback 2? Well, I'm considering Trevor and Dalton. And that's going to show us the options, right? But if you don't put any names in, we don't know who you're starting. But for example, at RB2, I'm considering Ramondre and Pollard, right? At wide receiver, I'm considering AJ and Juju, just as an example, right? And the more that you fill those out, we'll be able to see the rest of your roster. But I'd love to give him a free voucher since he entered this wrong. Can we do that yet on the site?
No, I don't think we can.
Let me just see if I can. I don't know that we're going to be able to, but that's how you're going to fill it out from now on. Let me see if we can do this. eDubs.
eDubs 131.
No, I can't find him here yet. I'm sorry, man. That's how you got to fill it out, though. And by the way, if you're in the YouTube chat, you can let us know, and if you have a simple question, we'll try and answer it. But yeah, when you send these super messages, guys, we don't have any information outside of the text that you put there, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sorry about that, man. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, though. We really appreciate it. I hope that's going to help, or hope that we can potentially help you in the future.
Yeah.
We appreciate that super chat. Do we
Hugo.
have another one? Where we're at here?
Super chat,
Hugh,
I think.
Hugo on super chat. He said, "Would you trade McLaurin for Amari? I would rather have Terry."
Yeah, I think me too.
I would rather have Terry right now.
That is a
Look,
really tough question to answer, though.
I think I'm not saying Amari Cooper is not going to perform. I just don't think it's going. I'm not saying it doesn't get better. I just don't think it's automatically going to click. I think it's going to take maybe 3 to 4 weeks until he
Exactly.
finally gets into this rhythm, and by that time you're cruising right now, cruising along, or you need a couple wins because you're maybe 3-3, and you're like, well, I can't really risk it. So just give me Terry, who's been the number one guy in that offense.
Yeah.
Terrell T says Deontay or T Higgins half PPR. This week I'm gonna go Deontay Johnson. Great matchup, but if you're telling me long term, I still want T Higgins because I'm scared of Bryce Young coming back.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Central
I actually
Mood.
agree. Bryce Young scares me.
Yeah, he says love watching you guys on the Flock series. Keep it up. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. By the way, guys, if you guys been following, I did win. I picked up Ray Davis, started him. 200 IQ. Wes B, he said traded Pollard and Devonta Smith away for Lamb and Mooney. I mean, yeah, give me Lamb and Mooney. Would you agree there?
When is it time to have a conversation about CD Lamb? Not right now, but I do prefer the Lamb side of that deal. It's close.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Is the CD's fault or is it Dak Prescott's fault? I don't know, but he's a top paid quarterback and we kind of knew what he was. Anyways, let's not go into that. Safe and sound. Gino over Mahomes. Can't believe I'm asking this. I'll double check here.
Well, we got
Yeah, I
a
have
super
these-
chat from Jared, but there's just no message. The message was deleted.
Do we? I'm not
See
seeing
that? Yeah,
Probably 'cause
Jared
I'm-
Gregory sent a super chat, but the message was deleted, and I don't see any message from him. Sorry
Sorry, I
about that,
must
Jared.
have skipped. I must have. I
That's
wonder
alright.
if they
Safe
don't
and
come
sound
up
is
if
what
they
I
don't
saw
have
next.
message. Yeah, that's what I saw as well.
Okay.
Gino over Mahomes.
Mm,
I'm gonna go Gino here. I love the matchup. It should be a high scoring game. Gino at the moment is a top 8 quarterback on the season so far. He's actually QB7.
wow, that's actually surprising to hear.
And this is the offense that throws the ball so much. I think he has the most attempts in the NFL right now. He has the most attempts and yardage. So give me Geno Smith.
Yeah, wow. I mean,
And
that's kind of
obviously,
shocking to hear, but I kind of understand.
and that's obviously like Zach said. I mean, Geno? Not only does DK have a different game, but Geno also has a different game if DK catches both of those touchdowns, one that's inbounds and one that's on his hands as well, right? Like, so just really depends. Really depends on how you feel, but give me Geno Smith there. Julius Fletcher, thank you so much for the super chat here. I'm assuming your question's in here. He says pick 2. Brian Thomas, Tank, McBride, Achane, Kyler, or Darnold. Appreciate the advice.
Okay, well,
Let's start with Brian
that
Thomas,
Trey
Tank,
McBride?
McBride. Yeah, I
Oh
think
my
it's Trey
gosh.
McBride. I'm gonna go with Achane. I just feel like that's your best player, and I'm gonna go with the best matchup in Brian Thomas. Just feel like all these guys should be started personally, and I'm gonna go Sam Darnold against this matchup against the Lions. High scoring game.
I'll go Darnold, but I have no idea how to answer the rest of the question. Like,
Yeah.
all these players are startable names, and none of them stand out to me. Achane's a safe floor. McBride should be great with no Marvin.
Yeah, Tank had a good game, but also
Yeah.
should be a high-scoring game against the Packers. Brian Thomas has one of the or should have a great matchup as well.
I feel like
Like
this is McBride and Brian Thomas for me, but I don't know how I sit Tank or Achane. That's really tough to say.
I agree.
By the way, Rob says, who's laughing about the Amari Cooper trade now? I don't know why that's a commented thing. I was never under the assumption that I robbed Sal, by the way. Like, I was struggling to make that deal. It was already an even deal when I sent it through, in my opinion. The
I thought
people
that
who were
trade was
crying
good.
about it was the Domain Boys.
Yeah.
So I
Because
thought it
they
was
have
already
value.
a fair trade when it went in.
I think it's because they value Jonathan Taylor high, and I don't think we do. I don't personally. I said this. I thought before the trade was fair, and not only it was fair, it was a must-win for Sal. Like, Sal needed to win this week.
I thought that
And
was
if he
about as
doesn't do
fair
that-
of a trade as it could be. I was definitely
And if
not
he-
victory lapping it, but I guess sometimes it comes off that way. But I didn't feel like I victory lapped it at all. In fact, I was defending Sal and his actions, but love the Domain Boys, but they were the ones who clowned on it. Mason clowned on it. I mean, we weren't saying Sal got robbed or anything when it went through.
No.
It looks great for him now, right?
Yeah. This person keeps putting it in the chat. Here.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we might have to put you in timeout.
if you keep spamming there and adding us, you're just gonna go on timeout. We'll try and get to all the questions here, but if not, we're trying doing our best. If you want to get your questions prioritized, you can donate. But we can.
You're under no obligation to do, but
yeah.
If you're gonna spam, we're gonna have to put you in timeout. It just makes this experience worse for everyone. Okay.
No worries. Jim Slim is next with the super chat. He says, "What should I change?" So your wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins. You have Henry, Taylor, tight ends Brock Bowers. Your flex is Tracy. Defense is the Jets, and you have Addison. I will start Addison over Tracy this week, or even Madison if he plays, and Brian Thomas if he plays. Or I know he's going to play.
Yeah.
Added Madison off waiver wires. Yeah, honestly, I would start all those guys over Tyrone Tracy as much as I love him. I would start Madison over Tyrone. I would start
Devontae
BTJ.
Adams has to be in your lineup, in my opinion. If it's him
Adams
or
over Tyrone.
Tracy.
Yeah, so I think you have a lot of good options. This might feel like an 8-man team here. So Adams, I would agree there as well. PJ Nasty, he says keep 3 rest of the season, sell 1. I'm selling Debo.
I just think Debo's not going to get a very good return, though. But I agree. Like, I'd prefer to keep those other names. I just don't think Debo's going to get you a return that's what you want it to be.
Yeah, and if you want a return and you don't get it, don't sell them. You don't have to sell them.
I don't really feel a need to sell any of those names, actually.
I completely agree.
But Nico's definitely not a sell on a 5-1 team. Neither is Cup. Those might be 2 top 5 wide receivers when healthy. And
exactly.
London, I think London is a wide receiver 5 right now.
Yeah, London is definitely showing up right now, which has been phenomenal. I was a little bit scared about his inconsistencies, but I think him and Kirk is definitely finding a groove, and that's exactly what we hoped for when Kirk Cousins came here. 33 points this past week, or not this past week, but obviously on the Thursday night, and then 19 points. His worst week was week 1 against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, it's probably not the answer you necessarily want to hear, but I wouldn't sell any of them. If you want my real answer, those are guys I'd like to keep on my team. But, and if you're gonna make the argument to sell one because of injury, I just think you're gonna potentially miss out on a very good option if he stays healthy. I mean, I just don't think you can predict injury like that. I certainly can't. If you can, then there are people who will pay you a lot of money to do so. All right, we have some questions through the website, so let's get to those. Big Johnson here with the trade. It's a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 7. This is Jaden Reed by far. It's not even close.
No.
They want to give you Chase Brown. All right,
That's
you
laughable.
can send this time code to whoever the hell just sent you that trade. Come on, what are you doing? Why are you trying to intentionally hurt this man's team? Come on, be fair. This is ridiculous. It's not even close. This is a laughable offer.
I agree.
All right, the next one is a trade question from Thon Vin. Says, looking to package depth for an elite wide receiver to go with AJ and JJ. Any other packages you like better?
Garrett Wilson, Tank Bixby for Drake London. I guess the question is, who are your running backs? So you have Bijan, Bucky, Nick Chubb, Kareem, Devon.
Wow. I actually think I would take the London side of this.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this based off your running backs. Give me Dreezy Drake.
10 team start 7. London feels much safer than Wilson rest of the season.
No question.
Already had London over Wilson before the trade. I find it hard to put him above him now, you know. Start sit from E-Dubs. E-Dubs is back. All right, so obviously we've figured this one out now. So it's a 1 quarterback, 12 team start 9. Appreciate you, E-Dubs. He's got Burrow or Goff. I think we'll go Burrow.
Yay.
Yes.
Gosh, I mean, now I'm second guessing it. I do have Burrow higher playing the Browns. Is Jared Goff playing at home?
I don't know.
No, he's playing at the Vikings.
I'm gonna start Burrow.
I'm gonna go Jared Goff here over Burrow. I just want a part of that offense. I need to get in that game, in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. I mean,
maybe I'm overthinking it and
kinda,
bringing it.
Yeah. I mean, Burrow's a quarterback 4 on the season, brother.
I hear you. Maybe I'm giga bringing it. Continue.
Okay, so Burrow, then B-Rob. Clearly, those running backs are the best options you've got. At wide receiver, we've got Evans, Chase, Adams. At tight end, Theo Johnson, I guess, is our streaming tight end.
Oh boy.
At flex, we have Ray McLeod. Unfortunately, Keon Coleman is RIP. I actually think I'm starting Jalen Polk over Ray. This is not an anti-Ray take. This is they're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, the best matchup for your wide receiver. That's my take, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Man, Polk is so interesting because I have Polk and he just needs to do something. If not, I need to drop him.
Yeah, well, I think patience is going to be your best friend with Polk right now.
Just hasn't been getting the targets at all. I mean,
the utilization has been good. I mean, remember, we are 1 week removed from him getting a touchdown and then calling it off because of the heel tap.
I understand that.
There's still good rationale to hold Polk. I mean, look at what Drake May did in his first start, you know?
Yeah.
But
there was just the reports that came out were a bit concerning. It was well, he needs to get over the humps. It was mental things that he was doing wrong, apparently.
Yeah.
On the field, and that
he and Boutte are good stashes right now, I'd say.
Shots to Kayshon Booty, huh?
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Cool to see. 5-star recruit. Weird entrance into the NFL. All right, Theo Johnson. I just want to talk about other options I'd rather play over Theo Johnson, unless I'm missing something. Is Theo Johnson a name I'm not thinking about enough?
No, I completely agree. I have a couple of names for you. I know not Tyreek Hill. Taysom Hill's coming back. Okay, I'd rather have that upside. Hunter Henry, I'd rather have. Kobe Parkinson if Puka and Cooper Kupp don't play.
Even if Kupp plays, I'd play Parkinson.
Noah Fant.
Yeah.
I think those are the guys that I would go for. I think then it would be is it Jonnu Smith or?
I think I'd even play Jonnu with no Tua.
Eric All. They kind of both been doing the same thing. Noah Gray. That's those are the guys that are available in the Flock League.
Oh shoot, that's rest of season rankings. I thought this was weekly rankings. Okay, that makes sense. My bad.
So this is a 12. This is a 12 team. So it's probably bare right now out there. and it's tight end premium. So I would imagine a lot of people have two tight ends, maybe.
Yeah. No, I pretty much agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
So if he's your best option, you can YOLO it, but we think there could be better options out there. I mean, in our 12 team home league, I'll just show you like the tight ends that are available. For example, like Parkinson's out there because he came off a bye. Fant, Taysom, Henry, Sanders even is a good stash right now or play. So we'd rather go that direction, I think. Appreciate you, E-Dubs.
Yeah,
Hopefully that was a better experience for you this time around. Once we all learn the site, it's just going to keep getting better and better. It's, again, really awesome to be a part of. But those are all the questions through the site for now. So, next super chat is from Sherney.
Sherney here. So it's traded in Njoku and Algier for Connor and Shakira. Full PPR thoughts. I mean, I like Connor over Algier. I feel like he's the most valuable player here, so I would take him. I don't want Njoku even without Amari Cooper, and Tyler Algier is a good backup. And I don't think it's over for Shakira. I think once again it opens it up, but he's not rising in my rankings.
Yeah, I agree. But Connor's the most valuable name here.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll take the James Conner and Shakira side.
Jonathan Lee, 1-5 in the 12-man, 1 PPR. Hurts, Achane, Gibbs, AJ Brown, Amari Cooper, Kincaid, Broncos, Koo, Juju, Leggett, Worthy, Tolbert, Likely, Warren, Wright. Morale is low. Look, to be honest, your team isn't actually bad. I mean, you've been really unlucky. The Achane situation with Tua, AJ Brown going down for an extended period of time, Amari Cooper, who just got traded to a good situation, Kincaid not being what you wanted him to be. Like, genuinely, I don't feel like your team is that bad. This is just the ebbs and flows of a fantasy football league. But, let's just say, are there any obvious sells on this team? Wouldn't sell Hurts, wouldn't sell Achane or Gibbs or AJ or Cooper. Kincaid, I would, but I don't know if you can. But if you could package like Kincaid and Worthy, for example, you might as well see what Worthy can be after the bye. But if you can package like Kincaid and I don't know, you might as well do Leggett at this point, right? Like if you can package Kincaid and Leggett and you can go out there and get a McBride, Bowers, or a Laporta, Ingram. Ingram's probably realistic. I think it's worth doing.
I think for me, the first person I would trade, since you need a win, is Amari Cooper. Because
I think that's actually not a bad idea.
We both agree, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to take a couple weeks for him to get accustomed to this offense and to really start clicking with Josh Allen, and you can't wait on that. So, and I think people want Amari Cooper now. So if you can sell him, I don't know, for Brian Thomas, Brandon Ayuk, or Deebo Samuel, DJ Moore.
Well, I've seen some people value Amari Cooper as a top 12 name. So
oh my goodness.
If the Evans of the world are available, Mike Evans, if the Metcalfs or Terrys, Jaden Reed, if he ends up being healthy, then I think that is actually a great idea that would really benefit you. Even if you can go like Amari and pivot to like a Deebo plus an upgrade at tight end, I think that's interesting. Like if you packaged Amari and Kincaid and you could get a Deebo and like a Bowers, for example, that would really benefit you. But
yeah, I'm okay with that as well.
This is just the unfortunate reality of fantasy football. Sometimes it's the most fun game we've ever played, and sometimes Mama said there'd be days like this.
Mama said there'd be days. Drew Wilson, thank you so much. He says been offered Cup plus Moss for Godwin, 12-team PPR keeper.
Moss means nothing. That's the issue in a keeper league.
I think I would say this. I think rest of the season I want Chris Godwin.
Over Cup?
Let me tell you, I think I do. And like you kind of mentioned, the way he's been getting utilized, he's having his best season. I think that's going to continue. And the unfortunate reality is that Cooper Kupp could get re-injured. And I mean, the same thing could be said with Chris Godwin. He could get injured. But I think for this season right now, if it's not a keeper or just a league to win the game, I want Chris Godwin this year. I feel like he has the higher upside. I mean, he's wide receiver 1 right now.
Yeah. No,
And I
look,
get
I
it.
love Godwin.
Cooper Cup is phenomenal. You know, and I love Cooper Cup, but man,
Yeah. I have such like a strong belief when Cooper Cup is back, he's getting like 15 targets a game. So I just really struggle with it, you know.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
Godwin,
and
but I still have this belief, man, that when Cup is back, he's a top 3 receiver. And I know Godwin's the wide receiver 1 right now, but I don't think it's our expectations that he finishes there.
no, it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not. I think it will come down to like this for me. It's like risk aversion. It's like I hope Cooper Cup is ready and
Sure.
100%. But I think we saw that it was it last year, or the year before, where Cooper Cup got injured, came back, and then still wasn't 100%. And then Puka breaks out, and then he, if I'm not mistaken, gets re-injured. So it's like let's just avoid it. Let's just go with Godwin. But I get what you're saying as well.
I just find it so tough to not have Cup. Yeah, this is a really tough question, actually.
I mean, I get it. I'm not disagreeing.
I don't know how to
It is a
answer it,
tough-
honestly. Like, I'm struggling because I love Godwin, have him in the Flock League, was my comeback player of the year. I'm a big fan of his. But I still think there will be bust games for him when Evans goes off. And when I say bust, I mean like 10 PPR points. I really think Cup is going to come back and be like, I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 weeks Cup is the number 1 wide receiver for everyone in fantasy football. That's what's concerning to me. And like you have all this history of him doing that with Matthew Stafford. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep Cup, but it's so close. And I can definitely understand if you want to play it safer and grab Godwin, but yeah, it's a tough question to answer. It really is. Wesby says trade away Pollard and Devonta Smith for Lamb and Mooney. I think we answered that one. We said Lamb.
Yeah, we did. We did. Kuba, Deontay and Pollard for DK and Najee, or Devonta Smith and Dak. So Deontay and Pollard for DK and Najee.
Where is this question?
Do you not see it? Kuba?
It says deleted on my end. So where do you see that?
Does it say deleted?
Does the super chat have text on it for you?
Yeah, it does. I'm looking at it right now.
It doesn't have text on it for me, so go ahead and answer this one.
Interesting. Deontay and Pollard or DK and Najee. Deontay and Pollard for DK and Najee. I don't want Najee Harris. DK Metcalf feels like the most valuable player there. And if you're okay at running back, I'll risk it with DK and Najee, or Devonta Smith and Dak. Depending on your quarterback, if this is a one quarterback league, there's no point of acquiring Dak, even if you have, even if you have the likes of any type of quarterback, I guess you can kind of say. So I wouldn't want to do that trade. It would have to be somebody else there.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Aiden is next.
Yeah, go ahead.
He said traded Addison for Higgins half PPR. Yeah, I think that's great. I want T Higgins.
Yeah, I agree. Higgins is looking so good. He's getting targeted so much more than Jamar Chase. I like it.
Yeah. Jared, thank you so much. He says DK and Tank Bigsby for Drake London. I have DK 3 and 3. I would say this, Jared. I know you might be in the chat. If Tank Bigsby is a huge part of your running back room, which I doubt he should be, then I would take Drake London.
Yeah, I get this narrative. Like, basically, if you're relying on Tank this week, or you have like Jerome Ford and Tony Pollard as your starters, then you can't make this move. But if Tank's like your RB4 or 5, then you go ahead and take Drake London.
Yeah, he says I have Bijan and Pollard, so like I'm happy with that. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, I like that.
Give me the London side there.
London. All right, maybe the last question of the stream. I mean, I got to record content for you guys. It's so late in the day here.
Yeah.
Our editor needs us to get content.
We were live like at 10:30, which is crazy. Anyways, I think Circus.
We'll
Let me see
answer
what that's gonna-
5 normal questions to end the stream.
Yeah, it says 12 team tight end premium quarterback Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, Neighbors, Dell, running back is Mason Moss, Roscoe, Mostert, tight end Laporta, Kincaid, 2 and 4. Anything I can do to improve? It's just one of those unfortunate things that like you kind of have to wait to see what's going to happen here. I can see obviously Jamar Chase was struggling in the first early part of the season. Same thing with Josh Allen. He had these 2 weird games.
You've been really unlucky with the Neighbors situation. You
Yeah,
probably would be
Neighbors
3-3 or
concussed.
4-2 if Neighbors didn't go out with that concussion. Your
Um,
running backs are
and
cheeks.
yeah, your running backs are tough, which is makes this difficult. And it's a tight end premium, and you went for 2 tight ends. It looked like so you probably drafted Kincaid and Laporta.
That killed you because
thinking-
Titans have been so bad.
Exactly, especially for tight end premiums this year. Oh my goodness, think about that. Oh gosh.
I'll say something real quick on this. If you can package Laporta and Zach Moss into a startable running back, you do that. Like a Brian Robinson, for example, right? That tier. And you'll have our rankings on the Flock side if you want to look through that. But like outside of that, I think even packaging like Kincaid and Mason and getting a startable name moving forward is interesting. It's kind of same situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you've just been really unlucky. That's the nature of fantasy. Ethan here says, got offered Devonta and T for Diggs. Do I take it? You take Devonta and T.
Agreed.
Yeah, you take Devonta and
Agreed
T.
there.
Appreciate you, Mark, for becoming a member. Appreciate you, man.
Thank
Very,
you
very
so
kind.
much.
We'll answer
That's
5
awesome.
normal questions to end the stream at random. We'll start with Mark. He says, guys, he updated the trade. Lad McConkey and Chase Brown for Jaden Reed. I'll take Jaden Reed.
No question. Let's do that right now. Accept it.
Awesome. 5 random questions. That was 1 out of 5. Wide receiver start sits already up. Raymond says, are we firing Cooper up this week? I think it all depends on your options. But, like, for example, if you're going to play Calvin Ridley or Cooper Kupp, you definitely go Cooper Kupp this week. But if you've got, like, you know, a Tank Dell, you play Tank Dell over Cooper Kupp this
I guess
week.
how far down
Amari
you going?
Cooper.
Like, what about Darnell Mooney, Josh Downs, Xavier Worthy,
I'd play Cooper over Worthy.
Jordan Addison?
Downs if Anthony Richardson plays. I'd play Jordan Addison over Cooper.
Okay. Good to know. Guess it depends on how you guys feel. Juju Smith.
I'd play Juju Smith.
Okay. That's pretty far down.
Not for me, not my rankings.
Okay. Anyways, hopefully that helps, guys.
That was question 2 out of 5. 3 out of
Okay.
5 is let's say Karn says, would you trade Deontay and Marvin for Mooney and Addison? No, I'd keep Deontay and Marvin. But he's
Agreed.
2 and 4. You might have to make that move, to be honest, man, if you don't have Marvin this week. But no, that's not enough. That's not enough value. No. That's
I was
3 out
gonna
of
say
5.
that you should get more. You should get more from Marvin.
That's 3 out of 5. Haas is here. Says A. Richard, T-Law, and Superflex. Already have Love at quarterback 1. I go T-Law versus the Patriots.
I agree.
Okay, that was 4 out of 5. I think this is Jetsy. This is 5 out of 5 of the free questions. So I play Downs or Douglas. I'll go Douglas unless Flacco plays.
Yeah, Flacco plays. I completely agree. Give me Downs.
Super chat
And-
from 44 says sent Diggs, Wandell for Godwin, Olave.
Every single day.
Yeah, I
Give
like
me
that.
Chris Godwin. Give me Chris
I like
Godwin
that.
and Olave.
And we will finish off on a question on the website from Nizzy Slim. It's a trade question. 1 quarterback, 8 teams start 7. One side gets Amari Cooper, Brees Hall, and Anthony Richardson. The other side gets Daniels, Gibbs, and Pollard. I'll take the Daniels, Gibbs, and Pollard side.
No question. I'll do that every single
I'd say
day.
Gibbs and Brees I'd view similar rest of season. Pollard and Cooper could be similar, but right now Pollard's done it more, and Daniels is a clear upgrade.
Yeah, no question. One of the
Okay.
best quarterbacks right now. So agreed with you.
That's it for today, guys. We appreciate you big time. Hey, start sits for both running backs and wide receivers are already out. If you're going to watch the wide receiver video, be aware I didn't have the information of the trades yet, so I left a comment on my thoughts. You can also watch the beginning of this stream if you want to hear our thoughts. But appreciate y'all for being here with us. Thanks for the love. Let me mean, look, the reality is we'd love to be live for like the entire day, but I got to go make content so you guys can watch it tomorrow. Stash video comes out tomorrow. I think this is a very important week for stashes. So much changes in the air. We'll talk about it. I appreciate you for watching the video, the stream, and we'll see you soon. And last thing I'll say is if you don't have a free account on the Flock site, definitely go get one. Use the promo code LAND. When you do, you'll get access to the trade calculator for free, rankings for free, and team analyzer, expert consensus versions of those, right? So appreciate y'all for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Much love.